My full name is Marvin Conway Adams. Go by the name of Conway.
Julian Dodson Adkins.
My name is Blanche Dalton.
August Fosberg Davis.
My name is Vivian Ely.
Jack Helm, H-E-L-M.
My name is James Andrew Livesey.
Ernest E-R-N-E-S-T Sanders, S-A-N-D-E-R-S.
My name is John Seyfarth.
Clancy Shields from Pennsylvania County, which is down near Danville.
My name is Patricia. I was Patricia Thornton.
Fellows that get in there and volunteer, and they want to do their part. Fellows that are drafted, they want to do the duty for the country, but there's a different feeling there. They're not, they're not wholly sold on the idea. But all those boys are in. Some women too. And we went from a small Army, Navy, and I mean, we had a force that was unbeatable.
I just sort of had a more positive attitude about the service. I did. I loved it. Everything, that they had a room for, there was a reason for it.
We built B-24s, the airplane, and also I worked with the USO.
I was the head of the WEC organization and managed their training and their lifestyle.
And I taught country school for 1 year. And then I joined the Navy. And 1943, I think it was.
I went in after the war ended and was in for 2 years. I was drafted. And spent about a year and a half of that time in Japan, stationed at Johnson Air Force Base near Tokyo.
I was in the Navy, 2 other brothers in the Navy, and the other brother was in the Army. And he went to Europe with General Patton's outfit. And he just passed away probably a year and a half ago.
As a trained, everybody trained as far as the infantry. Everybody did, but there's I went into supply.
Well, I was actually in London when London was bombed. You could see the flames everywhere, all over.
And I kept telling John, I'm going in the service today. He heard it for months. And he said, well, you're just 17. I said, I want to go.
I went into the Merchant Marine.
Okay.
And I was purely volunteer.
I remember we were all sort of worked together in that war. We never had somebody over here saying we shouldn't be doing this, we shouldn't be doing that, or against each other. We were all in there for the same reason.
Yeah.
Get the war over with. And
teamwork's important. You got to know what the other guy's doing. If he's out there, he's supposed to be out there. But most of us had those shells, like 6. I wasn't in the first one. The other guy was first, but I was standing right behind him and had him to the gunner. Because he had 6 shells. He could drop those things in, boom, 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 boom.
And not only that, of course, every night they would have mortar attacks. And I even saw what they call a buzz bomb, which is a ramjet, it's actually a drone. And we are all familiar with drones now.
I remember before we crossed the Channel, Patton came to the division to wish us well. And he used to say, he started down the list, he talked about the captains, the lieutenants, and he said the second lieutenant said you were born to die.
Oh, man.
which was really encouraging.
Yeah.
I know we had over up in the 30s in the convoy, and we were well protected by the United States.
The Battle of the Bulge did a good interview determining the battle went through the 28th.
When they invaded France on D-Day, those people came in, and I was on a heavy cruiser way out here. We were bombarding the Germans' pillboxes, knock out their guns. And those boys were there, they've had it on TV a lot. They would come in, and when they got out of those landing boats, they didn't get out of the water. Some of them, they cut them down, machine guns and things. And it was a bloody mess. We doggone close to lost it.
We were under smoke. We could see some where the bridge was up the river, but the smoke was to keep the Germans from observing us and calling in artillery on us. And that's, you just more or less are wondering what's coming next.
Well, I think of my good friends I lost. Yeah, I had a friend, he was a supply sergeant, and he didn't need to go to the front, so to speak. But he volunteered to go to the front because a lot of the men had been killed. And two of his sections were injured, laid out there in the open field. He went out and pulled one of them back in, whatever. He went to get the second, and for God's sake, he stood up. Then they cut him down, they killed him. Why he stood up, I can never imagine, but he did.
I've seen airfields that had been bombed out and planes destroyed on the field and stuff like that. Whether they were German or American, I don't remember them.
I saw a man opening a drugstore. I went up and had a cup of coffee, and he said, "Had you heard the news?" And I said, "I haven't heard anything." Then he told me that they were talking on the radio about Pearl Harbor attack.
People heard that, they couldn't believe it. They were out running the neighbors and say, wow, what's going on? Where is Pearl Harbor? We never heard of Pearl Harbor.
It was December the 7th when they bombed Pearl Harbor. The Enterprise had just moved out of Pearl Harbor the day before.
Well, we knew it was war when they, after they did that.
Yeah.
Sunken ships in the harbor. Most part is sunken, you know, with the top part showing. And there was signs of bomb damage all around.
I was ordered to report to Washington. Did. And they got all this story and said they would promote me to captain.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. He kept me in school at Tech. I'd had the money. He's the one that helped me to stay student at Tech.
First of all, I definitely would not think of it. I was not at all in favor of his attitude and actions, and I wasn't I certainly was not a Truman Knight.
So he took over and he said he wasn't in office more than 2 or 3 months. And of course he had been as vice president, and he said, "Go drop that bomb. Let's get this darn mess over with." And they dropped the 2 of them, and it was over. A lot of people criticized him, you know.
He dropped the atomic bomb, and we were all happy about that. And because our division was slated to be the second to hit any beach in Japan.
Remaining sites that I guess were a result of the bombing, they had done quite a bit of work to clean it up and clear it up, but they, they still had more to do.
To me, the Newport bomb was certainly a development and answer, and hopefully it would tend to end the war at that time. So, in my mind, it probably was a favorable thing.
My father used to go out in the morning for a little toddle, I suppose, and he'd come back and he'd say to my mother, "You know the couple on the corner with the green gate? They've gone. You know that nice couple who lived in that red house in the corner? They've gone."
I've often sing my prayers and talk to the Lord. And I'm thankful. I tell him I'm thankful for this country. We got the best, absolutely the best.
If you want to be bored, I tell any new persons even thinking about coming here, if you want to be bored, you've got to work at it. Because there's too much going on around here every day for you to do, for you to get bored.
It all happened because a war took place. And that meant that you had to respond to this, and you had to respond to this, and you didn't know how the hell you were going to do it or who was going to do it, but somebody had to do it. So somebody else who had the initiative stepped up and said, I've never done this before, but let me try.
But I felt a real honor to serve my country. I did.
I think old Uncle Sam did a good job there.